Hello, I'm James Cotton. I'm the director of I'm Dying to Be in the Choir. And I want to thank you for watching our show. I want to thank everyone who came out in June, who supported us in our return to the stage. And this is for those of you who didn't make it or didn't feel comfortable coming out in June. This is your way of still supporting us and seeing our show. If you do like the show, please consider making a contribution to the Uwharrie Players. Over the last year, most arts organizations have had to struggle financially because we haven't been able to do shows or get out and do what we normally do. So we are starting a drive to raise contributions for 2022 so we can return to the stage very strong next year, and we need help from you. So I will put a link in the description so that you can go to our website and make a contribution, or find an address if you'd rather mail in a check. However you want to do it, please consider supporting the Uwharrie Players financially if you can, or also come see our shows. So please sit back, relax, laugh a lot, because the show is very, very funny. You'll hear it's not a laugh track in the video, that's actually people laughing. So please enjoy our show, and thank you so much.
Good evening, Tilly. Are you as excited as I am? Excited? Yes, have you forgotten? Well, I'm sure I have. I have been getting more and more forgetful lately. As a matter of fact, I spent several minutes looking for my glasses, and you know where they were? On the top of my head. Anyway, tell me, what have I forgotten this time? Tonight's the night we meet our new choir director. After 6 long weeks of solos by Jean the Country Western Queen, it will be nice to get our choir going again. That's right, I had plumb forgotten. I have been knitting on those gloves for the mission team, and I haven't thought much anything else. Now tell me, why do you think people that live in a country near the equator need gloves? I hope you got that message right. Well, Charlene's the one that took that phone call, and you know how scatterbrained she can be. They may need kittens instead of mittens, but you keep making those gloves. I'm sure somebody can use them. I haven't been able to think about anything else but a new choir director since I heard the church had finally found somebody to replace Margaret Ann, and it's about time. She waved her arms around so fast she looked like she was trying to fly off somewhere. And with her attitude, I bet there were some winged monkeys flying right behind her. Well, she did her best, but you know, I did think her feet left the ground a few times during our Easter music. Yes, she created such a breeze that Jimmy Bolts had to hold on to his two paintings in the 3rd row. The preacher hadn't told us anything about her replacement. I just hope it's not a man. Mariah Dickerson! I can't believe you just said that. Well, you know I don't like to talk bad about somebody, but I never met a man I could get along with. I never knew you were such a feminist, and right here in the choir room of our church. A feminist? What in tarnation are you talking about? And what about Preacher Lawson? You said you were mighty fond of him, and he is a man. What are you talking about, Tilly? And who said anything about Preacher Lawson? But you just said I was talking about Rebecca Mann, who used to be our choir director years ago. Don't you remember her? Well, maybe that's before you moved here. She and her sister was both in the music business. The whole family was. I could not abide that woman or her sister. sister. If either one of them gets hired, I might have to quit this choir for good. Now, what is this about Femi, whatever, and the preacher?
Never mind.
Well, I thought I was going to be late. Where is everybody?
Don't know, we've been talking about the mans. Don't ask. Charlene, Tilly forgot we're meeting our new choir director tonight.
Well, I just know that whoever it is going to be just wonderful. I mean, I am going to miss Margaret Ann. She was so energetic and wonderful. The music we did under her leadership was just wonderful. Choir practice was always so
Wonderful?
I knew y'all thought so too.
Well, it will be wonderful to hear something in church this Sunday that isn't country western.
Now, Loretta, Jean's got a lovely voice, and she was a professional years ago.
She sang in a rodeo.
Well, I'm sure she was very good at it too. But I did think I'll be a cowgirl for Jesus in the Holy Ghost chorale was a little much last Sunday.
You were okay with there may be flies on you and me, but there ain't no flies on Jesus?
Do you think there were flies on Jesus?
Evening, Oscar.
What'd you say?
We said hello. We're glad you are here.
I know I can't hear. Tell me something I don't know.
Batteries must be bad in his hearing aid again.
Air raid? Don't be silly. Haven't been in the air raid since World War II.
Oscar, you have got to remember to wear your hearing aid when you come to choir practice.
Oh, I didn't forget it. I just turned it off. There's nothing going on I really want to hear. You sit next to Ernest Walker and see if you can sing anything in the right key. So when I do wear it, I just turn it off. And if it's not him, it's the rodeo girl. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, and the deer and the antelope pray, pray, pray. Deer and antelope praying. You know, I wish I had forgotten it that Sunday. Still can't get it out of my head.
You know, I had forgotten that one. I guess there's only so many hymns with a Western theme.
You know, I think the idea of the animals praying is just beautiful. I can just picture them with their little heads bowed, giving thanks to the good Lord for their daily feed.
Is she saying something?
I bet those little lambs were just praying their hearts out at the manger when Jesus was born.
Turn the back down a little.
Evening, everybody! Guess what I have prepared to sing for this Sunday? Hello, G. We were just talking about you.
And about animals praying.
Jean, we're meeting our new choir director tonight, so we may be singing as a choir this Sunday, so we won't need any lassos for the Lord.
I was preparing something from Broadway, too. Holy Spirit, come and bless us with your love today.
And the hearing aid is officially off.
Sorry we are late. We just left a board meeting where they were discussing putting a screen up in the sanctuary.
No way. Not in our sanctuary. Absolutely not.
What problem do you have with the screen?
Scream. Oh, I thought she said ice cream. Now, we work too hard on them floors for people to be in there eating ice cream and dripping it everywhere. I got no problem with the screen.
I think the idea of a screen in our sanctuary is just wonderful. Think of the beautiful pictures we could show while we sing.
She starts talking about praying sheep again. This sucker's going back off.
Well, I think we're all here now except for Virgil. Virgil won't be here, he's at that hog calling practice.
Oh, I had forgotten about that. The hog calling championship for the counties this weekend.
Yes, were y'all in church that Sunday when we were singing How Great Thou Art, and on Virgil's solo, a little piglet come running down the aisle. Kids just love the sound of that man's voice.
Oh,
more about the board meeting.
Well, this church can't afford a big screen in one of those projector things. We have hymn books, and we pay good money for them.
You mean that some of us paid good money for them? I didn't see you unlock the combination to your wallet to contribute anything.
Well, I didn't think we needed these expensive hymn books either. If some of you would just learn a few songs, we wouldn't have to fork out money for books.
Now, Ernest, we know you're a bit thrifty, but we need to be able to sing and learn lots of new hymns.
Thrifty. Ernest is so tight with $1 that he would walk 5 miles in a snowstorm to deliver a letter to keep from putting a stamp on it.
I may have done that. I'm proud of it, too. You know that being cautious with your money is a biblical concept, Alberta.
Proverbs 6 through 8. Go to the ant, consider its ways and be wise. It stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest.
You know why Jesus turned all that water into wine, don't you? Save someone a lot of money. Wine is expensive.
Okay, Ernest, just settle down. We don't need to do any more of this.
And what about all those loaves and fish that he multiplied? There's no telling what it would have cost to feed that crowd. Jesus is welcome to my Super Bowl party anytime.
Like you'd ever have one.
We would never host a party for an athletic endeavor at our abode. Perhaps for a viewing of the Moscow Ballet, however, I doubt many people in this congregation would find that appealing.
Savage.
You say, you found her in the big city?
Yeah,
You can stretch that dollar, can't you?
with the best of them.
Yeah, I figured that must have been the appeal.
So what do we know about this person who's been employed to direct us? Shouldn't she be here already?
We don't know a thing. The Reverend hasn't said anything to us. But we are expecting her any minute now.
Well, it certainly does not bode well that she is not on time for her first rehearsal with us. Punctuality is a virtue, you know. Proverbs 24. The sluggard does not plow in autumn. He will seek at harvest and find nothing.
We're talking about hymn singing, not planting turnips, Alberta. Maybe we should just go ahead with our choir business so that we will be ready when this lady arrives.
That's a great idea, Loretta. Okay, let's see. Charlene, you are chairing the committee for the fundraising for our new choir robes. Do you have a report?
I do. After looking through several catalogs, I have found the perfect robe for our group. It is ruby red with little doves on the collar.
We're going to have doves on our choir robes.
Charlene, we appreciate all your hard work for looking at choir robes, but we need to focus on fundraising first. Do you have any ideas?
Maybe a dove hunt.
Does anyone have any ideas? Well, Jean did offer to do a program of rodeo songs.
I'll be at in the Holy Ghost around. I'll let the devil and drag it back to hell. Never ride the lonely trail where he always comes. And now go for Jesus in the bookhouse of my God. I'll break the bottle and make them all obey. I'll find me some wrestlers and no member of that man family is our new choir director. Okay. My cousin Leanne's boy needs prayers again.
Well, I didn't know he was sick.
He's not sick, just stupid. We need to make sure he finds his way home at night and keeps putting his shoes on the right feet.
Loretta, we need to be serious and go through this.
Y'all talk about Leanne's boy.
Yes, but he's not sick.
Yep, he's just stupid.
I told you.
Okay, why don't we pray for the lost?
You point that boy in the wrong way, and he sure will be.
Well, I think we should pray for those gonorrheans. Those people in Ghana that we talked about in church last week.
Why are we about to turn this thing off?
The people from Ghana are not called gonorrhea.
Well, what are they called? Ghanaites?
Denise,
Bless you.
Okay, why don't we just
Sorry,
say...
folks, we're arriving so late. I'm Ray Dunlap, your new choir director.
Why, he's so young.
and he's not a man.
Now, Loretta, we need to...
I'm just saying that the music that we've always done at Christmas time has always been good enough for our congregation. So I don't understand why we have to learn something completely new.
Well, I like this cantata. It feels real Christmassy to me.
I'm undecided. I don't have a single solo. But if we do vote not to do it, I have a beautiful arrangement of Cowgirl at Bethlehem.
Like I said, I'm always ready to try something new.
Well, I think it's really considerate of Ray to allow us to vote on whether we want to do this new music or not. Margaret Ann never would have done that. Oscar, do you know how you're going to vote? Oscar!
Oscar! Turn up your hearing aid.
Oh, hoping I wouldn't have to do that. The choir practice always goes downhill when I can hear everything.
I don't know why you keep turning that thing off, but you did look happy there for a little while.
I learned years ago, best way to stay friends with people is to ignore them. You know, when the Lord blessed me with the hearing loss, it's amazing how much more I enjoy you ladies.
You stop that teasing, Oscar Darnell Turleson. You would be lost wife without choir practice, and you know it. Now, how are you going to vote for this cantata, yes or no?
Well, is George going to be singing? Because if he is, I got to make sure that pig pen is locked up good and tight.
No, he's got a hog calling contest that weekend. I don't know why they do hog calling so close to Christmas time.
Well, if it keeps Virgil's pig-attracting voice somewhere else besides here, I say it's just another Christmas miracle as far as I'm concerned.
So, does Mr. Rodeo have any solos in this new stuff?
Apparently, I do not.
But I don't guess.
You know you asked me to sing at your funeral.
Yes, and I don't hear a thing.
Don't you worry. I plan on dropping by your house one day and performing your funeral solo for you. And I've got a nice piece for Virgil, too. It's called Who Knew Hog Heaven Was For Real? My life here was miserable, like living in a sty. But I've got my wings now, who knew that pigs could fly?
Dang, just wait and sing that when you go to Oscar's to preview the other beauty you have ready.
Loretta, remind me after choir practice, go home and turn off my doorbell.
Well, it's nice to see some of you folks here, sure. Discussing the vote on the Christmas cantata, I'll bet.
Nope, talking about the music for Oscar's funeral.
Oscar, are you okay?
Well, I was. when that time does come, I'm gonna ask you to stand at the front door of the church and keep the pigs out.
Okay.
And if Dean back here comes up with a lasso and starts yodeling, you just shove my casket right on that door.
Gotcha. Okay, now listen. We do need to make a decision about whether or not you folks want to stretch your repertoire and do this Christmas cantata this year, or whether we want to play it safe again and do our usual Christmas music.
Stretch our what?
Your repertoire. The amount and type of music you can sing.
Oh, well, I wanted to know what I'd be stretching, because I get a pain in my behind every Wednesday morning from doing those stretches down at the senior center.
Yep. You give us all the payment hours every Wednesday night.
Very funny, Oscar, let me tell you how funny. That is not fair.
That's nothing to. I'm sorry, Ray. These two have been going at it since the 4th grade.
That's all right, Tilly. It just keeps my job more interesting.
Have you voted yet? Have you voted?
If it's so important to you, Ernest, you should try getting here on time.
Well, there were more people than usual at the Wednesday night Baptist hot dog dinner.
That's very ecumenical of you, Ernest. Sitting down with our Baptist brothers and sisters.
Thanks.
Does ecu whatever mean cheap? Because the only reason he goes is because it's free.
Just following the advice of the good book, Loretta. Tell him, Alberta.
Genesis 6:21. Take for yourself some of all food that is edible and gather it to yourself. And it should be food for you and for them.
And I am sure you ate enough for you and for them.
Actually, Ernest was quite reserved. But I did volunteer to bring home the leftovers.
You two must have met in the bargain basement of Woolworths.
I know where to find a good woman.
Well, I think we're all here now, except for Virgil, of course, and he'll be practicing hog call until the first of the year, so I guess we can vote on the music if you're sure you still want to do that, right?
I'm absolutely sure about this, Tilly. Now look, I want you folks to be comfortable with whatever it is we decide to sing this Christmas, and if you're not completely comfortable singing a cantata, I will completely understand.
Well, I am really excited to try something new, but of course I can't vote. I'm not registered.
Registered?
Well, I mean, I've been meaning to get around to it, but since I was in the running for Possum Queen this spring, I didn't want to sign up just so people would think I was voting for myself.
Charlene, honey, you don't have to be registered to vote in a church choir decision, or even for Possum Queen election for that matter.
You don't? Louie and Kingsley told me that only registered Republicans can vote in this county.
Do you mean Louie Kingsley, Possum Queen 2020?
I knew that election was rigged when she won.
Don't you fret, Charlene. Luann looks a whole lot more like a possum than you do.
Thank you, Loretta.
Okay. We need to get this vote over with so I can decide, or so that I can get our Christmas music ready this year. So, does anybody have any questions? Oscar.
Ray, I recognize a lot of these titles, but what are these P's here in this one song?
Those mean sing softly, Oscar. P is the Italian word piano.
Italian, huh? Loretta, let me have your book. I'm going to put a whole lot of P's in there, because the softer you sing, the better off everybody else is.
You touch my music, Oscar, and you'll be peeing blood in the morning. Right. I just want to remind you, if you need any solos to perform this part of this cantata, I do have a professional background in performance and vast experience in performing solos.
We're talking about Bethlehem, not Dodge City, Jeep. Wise men, not cowboys.
But if you need any camel roping, Ray will give you a call.
Do you think there was camel roping in Bethlehem?
Probably not, dear.
But if there was, I bet Jesus was real good at it.
on, Gene. Now, does anybody have any other questions? Ernest?
Just how much is this new music costing us?
It didn't cost us a penny. I borrowed them from my last church. They were more than happy to lend them to us.
Well, the freer the music is, the more I like it.
You better hope there's no toll roads to heaven, Ernest. I'm gonna have to say no on this cantata, Ray. I'm just too old to change. All I want to sing at Christmas is Silent Night, and Oh Come All Ye Faithful. All this new stuff is just too much for me.
But if we vote to sing it, you will sing with us, won't you, Loretta?
Well, I'll have to think some on that. Getting too old to be in a choir anyhow.
You can't get too old for this choir. We're all just getting old here together.
And the choir wouldn't be the same without you.
That's right. Every choir needs people who understand their limitations vocally. We can't all be soloists, but we can all contribute in our own way.
And contribute in many ways you do, Loretta. You're much too important to this group for us to even think about letting you leave us.
Leaving? Who's leaving? I thought we were going to vote on this cantata thing.
No one is leaving, Oscar. At least we hope not. You gotta keep that hearing aid turned up so you can keep up. You have no good reason not to keep it turned up. You know,
Right! I think I see the perfect spot in this cantata to sing one of my favorites, A Cowgirl at the Manger.
Reason number one.
Ooh, that sounds nice. And I can softly moo in the background.
Reason number two.
And Oscar, you and Ernest could hee-haw like donkeys.
I'll hear you later.
Okay, folks, it sounds like it's time for us to take a vote on this cantata. Gene, we'll talk about adding any additional music later on. Okay, all in favor of singing the cantata at Christmas, raise your hand. And to be official, all opposed?
Hee-haw.
That settles it. Looks like we better start practicing this Christmas cantata.
Well, I think it's time that I go on home. I guess the next time I sing with this choir, we'll all have wings.
Do you think she wants wings on her new choir robes?
Charlene, honey, I think she means that we'll all be dead and in heaven.
Well, I just think it's for the best anyway. She would just be disagreeable every week at choir practice.
She's disagreeable every week now.
and she's been that way for years. But that's just Loretta's way of showing how much she cares about all of us. I think she might come back if she thinks about it some.
I'm sorry, Tilly. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings.
No, Ray, it's not your fault. Loretta is just sensitive in her own way. I just hope she'll change her mind. She really needs to be part of this choir, especially at Christmas. I'm going to go talk to her.
Wait, Tilly! I'll go to the truck and get a lasso.
Maybe if we do put wings on the new choir robe, she'll come back.
How much is that going to cost us, Charlene?
Stop her before she uses the entire choir fund.
Apparently I missed something.
Yes, Alberta. I'll make sure there's plenty of places where you can sit down and take a break during the Christmas cantata. Look, I know this is more standing than most of you folks are used to.
Thank you, Raymond. To be in my best voice, I need to feel strong. Jeremiah 31:25. For I will satisfy the weary soul, and every languishing soul I will replenish.
We all really miss Loretta, don't we?
I'm not sure that miss is exactly the right word, but it certainly is obvious when she isn't here.
Yeah, she at least kept Oscar awake for choir practice. Wake up so we can rehearse. Oscar!
Dang it, Loretta, will you leave me alone?
longer she stays away, the harder it's going to be for her to come back. She is very proud.
Proverbs 16:18. Pride.
Not now, Alberta dear. We all know that one.
Dang, honey, man. I didn't know you had it in you.
What if I took my tambourine over to Retta's place and sang a couple tunes outside her window?
We want her to come back to choir, radio girl, not leave the state.
I might just sing 2 songs at your funeral.
No, I apologize.
Is this a bad time for me to bring up my latest charity idea?
Yes.
Shh, no. It is never a bad time to talk about helping others, Charlotte.
Unless it's for the gonorrheans. And I can't believe I just said that.
Oh, no, ma'am. This is about the STO organization. I read about it in a magazine last week.
S-T-O?
Save the orangutans.
Oh, dear Lord.
Charlene, honey, I believe it's pronounced orangutan, but I do appreciate your concern for God's creatures.
She's talking about monkeys, isn't she? Oh my goodness, that girl needs to operate a zoo. First, it's praying sheep, then it's doves, now it's monkeys. I gotta get some kind of warning symbol to remind me to turn this thing off. Good Lord. Monkeys! Nothing, huh? Well, how about that?
Okay. Friends, look, we really do need to be practicing our cantata. But I sense your hearts just are not in it right now. So maybe we could think or brainstorm ways that we could get Loretta back.
Brainstorm.
For you, that would be a brief shower, dear.
Well, if you folks could lure her out of the house, I could get my lariat, drive by in the truck, and lasso her. I did a little cattle roping when I was with the rodeo.
I'm sure you did, Jean, but that's a little extreme. We need to try something more diplomatic.
Since when has diplomacy ever worked with Loretta? We'd have a better chance of bringing peace to the Middle East than talking sense into that woman.
You know, I've never understood where the Middle East is. I mean, you got New York in the east and you got California in the west. Where is the Middle East?
The Middle East is not in America, Charlene. It's way over near Egypt and Israel.
Oh, and lesbian. I understand.
That would be Lebanon, Charlene. Lebanon.
Oh, I'm so glad I was turned up for that one. I would have hated to miss that.
When you were in this costume queen contest, was there an interview portion to this pageant, or did you all just do your best to hang from tree limbs?
Yes, ma'am. I was interviewed.
And just what question did they ask you?
Well, they asked me if I had any ideas about how to make the world a better place. I said no.
That was your full answer? No?
I didn't want to put on a fake hate about my world knowledge.
Facade.
She speaks Charlene. It took a while, but I think so.
You know, I think she ought to stick with one syllable words until she has them mastered.
Okay, folks, let's get back to Loretta and this cantata.
Oh, great. I don't think there's going to be any Loretta and the cantata. There's going to be Loretta or the cantata. All the time I've known her, I have never known anyone to change her mind.
I'm afraid Oscar's right. But on the other hand, it's not fair to Ray to give up the cantata just because of Loretta.
Actually, I was thinking maybe we could come to some sort of compromise.
We let her think she's getting her way.
Well, maybe we could sing some songs from the cantata and include some of our usual Christmas music for Loretta.
Might give me a solo opportunity, Mr. Ware?
There might.
That might work. And it shows how much you care and have concern for Loretta, even if you are a man.
Well, who's going to go over and tell Loretta the good news? She said she was leaving.
Well, I guess that would be me, Oscar, unless you volunteer.
Hey, I may have lost my hearing, but I have not lost my marbles.
Oh, well, I'll be glad to help you go look for him.
Bless your heart.
I'm so sorry, Tilly. I know you and Loretta were close.
Yes, we were, Charlotte. At least as close as anyone could get to Loretta.
Boy, Loretta said she was leaving. She really meant it.
We all were very shocked, Ernest.
Psalm 90:10. The days of our lives are soon gone, and we shall fly away.
Poor Loretta hated to fly.
Did you ever get registered to vote? No. Don't be in a big rush.
I just finished my number for Loretta's service.
I didn't know Loretta asked you to sing when she passed away, Jean.
Oh, she didn't, but I figured it's only because she never got the chance since she left us so unexpectedly.
Well, I think she would like something a little more traditional.
That's what I thought. So I considered some of the greats, like Happy Trails to You, or Bury Me Not on the Lone Prairie. Either would require a few word changes here or there, of course.
Of course.
Oscar, I'm glad you're here. We're just discussing what I will be singing at Loretta's service.
You were going to be singing? I don't think Loretta won't get along with little Doggy sung her funeral. I can just hear her now. Oh, my dead body. Which in this case is exactly what will be happening.
No, I agree, which is why after I considered it, I decided it wouldn't work. I do believe that a heartfelt rendition of Bury Me Not on the Lone Prairie might be very appropriate.
Especially since there's not a prairie within 200 miles of here.
Just another service where being hearing impaired will be a blessing.
Well, let's just leave the music discussion for a moment. Since Loretta didn't have any immediate family, we need to plan her service as soon as possible, and I think she would want us all to contribute.
Why in the world is she wearing that atrocious sweater?
Well, that was her favorite, and it is Christmas time.
I always liked this sweater. It just brightens up the room. I do think Loretta would want it turned on, though.
Oh, Charlene, you're gonna run the batteries down. But I guess that matters now.
There, that's more natural. More like Loretta.
Natural? Not just look natural to me. What? She's smiling. Yeah, that looks more like Loretta. A nice scare.
Well, you know, she actually does look a little more lifelike now.
I heard a rumor that Loretta left everything to the church. So if we're cost effective on this service, we might have enough left over to recarpet the sanctuary.
Oh, and that carpet really does need to be replaced, and I know a dealer where we can buy at his cost.
Oh, do tell.
In that case, I will not charge my usual funeral performance fee when I sing at the service.
I didn't know you sang at funerals, Jean.
Well, I guess there have been a lot of little doggies who have gotten along.
There are many bereaved who appreciate the energy and pizzazz that a Western tune brings to a funeral. Cheer
might want to rethink that sweater thing.
No, but I think she would like something loud and annoying. Like her personality.
I think it would be really sweet for the choir to sing something.
Well, we certainly would sound a lot better without Loretta in the front row.
Can we please move on to another part of the service?
Well, Virgil should be through the hog call, and maybe we can
Shush!
just saying.
Well, is anybody going to say anything? One of those anthologies.
That would be eulogy, my dear. And of course, Preacher Lawson is going to say a few words, but he is so full of fire and brimstone.
And Loretta's hearing plenty of that now where she is. Just saying.
Well, it certainly should be one of us, and since I will be singing, possibly, it has to be one of you.
Tilly, you are, of course, the obvious choice. You knew her better than any of us.
Maybe someone who didn't know her very well would be a better choice.
Ernest, if you and Oscar don't cut it out, you're going to have to leave, and we're going to plan the rest of this.
Understood, but I'm sticking around to make sure there's some target money left over after this shindig.
This will hardly be a shindig, my dear.
I guess I should be the one, but I get really nervous speaking in front of large groups of people.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that, Tilly. This is, of course, Loretta's funeral we're talking about.
I am nervous there won't be many people here, Tilly.
Heck, if we plan this thing out right, we might even have enough left over to retile the kitchen.
I am sure there will be a respectable number of folks here at the service. There will be Preacher Lawson and Ray, of course, and the 7 of us.
But have we even set a time yet? I ain't missing Gary Moran.
Oscar, Darnell, Turleson, you will be here no matter what time we set this service.
Just kidding, Tilly. Hey, anybody got one of them DVR things I can borrow just in case?
As I was saying, in addition to the 9 of us, 10. In addition to the 10 of us, there will be, let's see, the Dan Fields.
No, I don't think so. Remember, Loretta shot their pet possum for getting into her tulips last spring.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Now it's the only 3-legged pet possum in the county.
Did they make it a little plastic leg?
No, it was crutches.
Ooh.
Well, we can count on the entire Dan Anderson family. Remember, Loretta made her famous persimmon pudding for them when their aunt in Ohio died.
Not likely. The whole family got the food poisoning and wound up in the emergency room. Bad persimmons.
Oh, I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, I bet the Andersons have it.
What about old Mr. Dunstan? He loves everybody.
He is a sweet old man, Charlene, but he and Loretta had a little incident under the mistletoe 2 Christmases ago at the general store.
You mean he tried to?
Oh, that old man never stood a chance. Loretta kung fu him with a karate chop would have made Bruce Lee proud. Tried to get him on Jerry's screen, but he was too embarrassed.
Well, there may not be a lot of folks, but with the 9 of us and Virgil, well, really, a hot calling thing.
Maybe we could just stick her down in the cold storage, lock her down in the ice packing plant for a couple of years. People may have forgotten how they feel about her by then.
Loretta, I couldn't let them all think you were dead. That would be
So y'all just let me lay here looking like a fool.
I was enjoying the peace and quiet.
Well, your Christmas lights sure did look pretty in your casket, Loretta.
Somebody just close this lid and bury me. I'll never be able to face all of you now.
Loretta, why don't you go ahead and tell all of your friends why you did this in the first place so they can understand this charade?
Parade? Am I missing the parade?
Tilly said charade, not parade.
Charade? I don't want to play games. I want to know why in tarnation Loretta wanted us to think she's dead.
Loretta?
Okay. Christmas is a lonely time for me, and this whole cantata thing just had the choir spending too much time dwelling on it.
But I thought you loved Christmas just like the rest of us do. Sure, every year at Christmas you go and spend a week with your great nieces in South Carolina.
I know I do, but
Loretta?
I knew I should have never told you, Tilly.
Loretta, these are your friends.
I don't have any great nieces in South Carolina.
Well, where do they live then?
Charlene, honey, I think she's saying she doesn't have any great nieces at all.
Well, where do you go every year?
Down to the Dewdrop Inn at Maggotsville. They have free cable.
Free cable? What about the pictures of your beautiful
Just
nieces?
some I found in some picture frames at Woolworths.
Well, to be fair, that beautiful part should have been a dead giveaway that ain't related to Loretta.
Oscar Charleston, when I get out of this darn casket, I'm going to show you some Bruce Lee moves that you've never seen before.
Oh, come on now, just teasing, Loretta. Seriously, if I had known you needed company over the holidays, you could have come on over and watched Jerry Springer with Susan and me.
And of course you could have gone with me and Oscar on our annual Yuletide bargain hunting jamboree.
My folks and I would love to have you, Loretta. We got plenty of room.
It's just hard being alone at Christmas time, and I'm just too stubborn to admit I don't have family.
What do you mean you don't have family? Of course you have family. We are your family.
Out of the mouths of babes.
Thanks, Charlene, but it's just not the same.
We are going to make this official. We're going to adopt you.
That girl is on a roll.
That is a great idea, Charlene. We can do officially what all of us, except Loretta, do unofficially. This choir will hereby vote to officially adopt Loretta Pickerson as family. All in favor, raise your right hand.
So, what are we voting on again? Okay, I'm in.
Charlene, this is one vote that doesn't require voter registration.
Well, that would be 100% in favor if Virgil was here.
It is starting to feel a little like Christmas in here.
Yeah, but instead of a cute baby in a manger, we got a cranky old lady in a casket.
Welcome to the family, Loretta.
So, does this mean I have to be nice to you now?
No, because I will never recognize your ugly mug as my brother.
Yep, a real family.